All right, hello. My name's Peter, and I am with Oli Fitness, your personal gym assistant. For a quick second, we're going to show a video of what our product is. You know, picture's worth 1,000 words. A video's worth 1,000,000. All right, as you see, this is sort of a live testing of our product. You see our user doing a trap, which is the workout, and this is the program running, and it's sort of watching you work out. Now, what is Oli? What Oli does is it's an imaging processing unit that sort of watches you work out. And the key here is this blown up image on the screen. As you can see, the user is lined with green dots, blue lines, and red lines. The blue lines recognize your body parts. The green dots recognize the green dots. And the red lines, that's the key part here, because that's where your form is wrong. And that's why we built this, to catch that. Now, why? Why do we want to catch bad form? It's extremely obvious in the left image of something someone's doing wrong. Well, it's also on the right. The bar is not level. And these kind of errors lead to injury. Now, we do have some preventative measures already in place. Everyone in our team is a competitive powerlifter, and there's equipment from wrist wraps to belts. You have spotters to watch you work out, and there's also videos where you can see how those workouts are done. But in spite of that, injuries still are a common occurrence. Now, the injuries, we highlighted the CrossFit injuries specifically. There's been about a 50% increase in those injuries between 1990 and 2007, 90% of them being free weights. So that video we saw earlier of him doing the trap, that's an example of a free weight exercise. And the cause is incorrect form, you're doing more weight than you're actually capable of, and probably the worst ones is where you have a slight form incorrection, but like over time, that workout slowly gnaws away at you. One of our sponsored athletes, his name is Nuck. He represents the U.S. in weightlifting competitions. His issue was he was benching incorrectly, and slowly it started messing with his shoulder, and eventually he had to get surgery. Now, as an athlete, there's issues with that. One, medical expenses. Two, as an athlete, when you injure yourself and you're unable to work out, it affects your craft. Now, the target market we've highlighted is the CrossFit demographic. As you can see in the picture in the top left, there's a very large age range. I'm just joking, but the average age is between 25 and 34. This is important because this age group is very good with technology. You know, we're all, millennials. We all got our phones and our screens, so we can more easily, seamlessly introduce this technology. Another key part is the average household income of people who get into CrossFit is about $150,000 if you include both parties in many cases. And the cost is around $150 a month. Now, why we chose this is because of the market potential. This graph shows the explosion of the CrossFit industry. More than any other gym, it's exploded. From 2005 to 2015, it has gone from 13 to 13,000, and we have about 14 million CrossFit users. And fortunately, we're in Washington, one of the top 5 CrossFit states, so all of you are extremely lucky to be in this state. Now, our business model. What we want to do is go to these gyms, and they will purchase the Oli unit, and then they'll have it there. And all users will be able to use the base freemium model, which is the program which is the example I showed earlier in the video, where you're working out and the form corrects you. Now, there's additional features, but that will be where the monthly subscription comes in. That includes the metrics that we calculate in the background, and with those metrics, we can show the user things such as what workouts we recommend, what weights we recommend, and probably one of the big things is the video recordings. We have video recordings of you working out. Now, why is that key? I don't know if you know many people who do CrossFit, but people who do CrossFit love telling other people they do CrossFit. I mean, just check Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. There's videos all over the place. And us providing this is sort of honeypotting them into getting this freemium model. Sort of the same idea where you take your phone, you get Candy Crush, or in my case, FIFA. It's free. But if you pay like $3 or maybe $8 or more, you get this extra stuff, and that's really cool. Now, before I get into this, the reason we think it's so great to go after CrossFit gyms is because when we were in Seattle, we did a 5-mile radius of our CEO's apartment, and we found about 5 CrossFit gyms just within the 5-mile radius. That explosion in the market means there's competition. Competition, the driver of capitalism, and what we want to key in on. Any gym has multiple competitions, so we want to sell the Oli unit to make them unique. So they can go to their users and say, hey, we have Oli, this is why you go to our gym and not the other gym, the bad one down the block. And of course, most importantly, there's the injury factor. Now, as much as we would like to think businesses have our personal issues that interest, we want to count on the financial, because injured gym users don't usually pay monthly subscription fees, or at least not for an extended period of time. They want to keep them healthy, so they stay in the gym and they pay those subscription fees, and that's how those gyms make money. And we believe Oli can help them increase users in their gym and how to retain them. And this can be either from the very fervent CrossFit people who want to get fit, or just those people who have the subscription to the gym and be like, I'll work out tomorrow. And now our roadmap. Our MVP, which is our minimal viable product, we're projecting to have that fully refined within 3 months. We want to do some lab testing to make sure our metrics check off in a sports lab, so we can verify that this information we're giving you, it's been clinically proven. And of course, we want to beta test. I don't know if you've been to Tacoma Strength. It is a CrossFit gym here in Tacoma, just down the street. They have signed a letter of intent where they would love to beta test Oli right there. So as I've told, many of us are competitive powerlifters. We have great connections with the powerlifting community, and the interest in this is amazing. We've been talking to other gyms as well, and sort of the idea of having Oli in there, tracking workouts, preventing injuries, is something that's actually very marketable. And this last part, this is sort of idealistic, but ideally we would also want manufacturers to take Oli and install it into the units themselves. So for example, if you have a squat rack, it'll have Oli in there, so all the user has to do is buy the rack, and then you sort of just squat right there, and Oli does its thing. Our traction, we got our research paper, which established the science behind Oli by ACM Chai, which is a research organization for computer-human interaction. And additionally to that, we've been finalists at the Tiger Launch Regionals, which is a investing pitch such as this one. More recently, it's not on the slide, we've also made the finalists into Collision in New Orleans. We have a team over there pitching that. We've been accepted to the Collision Alpha program, and we are currently in the process of incorporating. Now, the use of funds. We don't have the time to go through all the details of the funds. We are more than willing to go over the deals in the question part. But the main 3 parts is the engineering, the lab validation, and the design services. Engineering is what you saw, the program you see and click. The lab validation is the clinical trials in the labs. Design services is sort of even behind the program. We're interacting with cloud servers, so you can use the information and store them somewhere where you can access them worldwide. Also, we'd have to incorporate this if we want them to pay for it. I am Peter Chu. I am the veteran in this group, U.S. Air Force. Fly, fight, win. Hua. And leave it to the Air Force vet to major in computer science, We just love our chairs. And I have a sales background as well. Next slide. This is Chris right here.
Hello.
He's a double major in computer science and finance. We nickname him Viking. You can see why. It's excellent branding. And he also has experience as a cybersecurity engineer, which is pretty key because it's ignorant to think that we're going to provide a service that people pay for and no one's going to try to compromise that.
Time's up.
And the rest of our team.
So just a quick question. You said you were incorporating. I'm taking that to mean you're forming a C corporation?
Yes. So we're working with the law firm Carney Badley Spellman at the moment, and we're actually, yes, incorporating as a C corporation in Washington at the moment.
How big do you think your team's going to be when you guys are in full stride?
So we believe we can get this product to market with 2 senior engineers for like the engineering side, and then ideally our sales team would be 1 to 2 members, and we can sell directly to the gym owners. Team that size.
We had a team of 4 that we were presenting. Unfortunately, I didn't.
Yes.
So there's 4 engineers total we already have who are working with Oli.
So yeah, 6 total engineers, and then 1 to 2 salespeople.
Do you have kind of a big picture on just revenue, expenses, kind of looking forward out?
Yes. So
He's the CTO, so yes.
So we're projecting we can target roughly 9 gyms by the end of this year, and that would be our starting point, and we would target roughly 8 CrossFit gyms in Seattle and South Puget Sound.
Mm-hmm.
And we're projecting our revenue growth in the Pacific Northwest by the end of next year to be roughly 500,000 based on the number of CrossFit gyms we have and the size of those particular gyms we have. And beyond that, we're looking into like regional expansion throughout the Pacific Northwest, Northern California, and we're projecting we can get to roughly 5 million in revenue in CrossFit gyms in these markets.
Is there currently any market saturation? Is there any kind of product like this, or is there a resistance to this kind of stuff?
So primarily what is on the market right now in sports fitness is either apps or wearable devices. So we are not a wearable device in any way. There currently are no direct competitors in the image processing space, which is sort of what we're doing.
Is this something that you would sell direct to people and not just to a gym? Have you thought about that?
Yes. So ideally, our target strategy right now is to sell directly to the gym owners. And then why we're targeting CrossFit gyms is basically to get the owners to roll this $8 a month membership due into each one of their members' dues at the gym. Like we said, they're on average right now about $150 per gym. The members in particular that we've talked to at different CrossFit gyms their demand or their gym dues their demand for gym dues is very inelastic, so they're willing to increase their prices a little bit for their gym dues.
I'm sorry, can you repeat again what you're charging a gym owner per month to have this software available?
So we're not charging the gym owner, or you're saying per month? Yeah.
Right.
So we're charging the gym owner $8 a month per user of our Oli service.
And you charge that to the gym owner as opposed to the user themselves?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a little confused. So I was looking at the original model. You talked about a freemium model. And the freemium model, it's free for usage, but then we have the premium segment, which is $8 per month. So a gym owner signs up with you, and they want to put the system in their gym. The assumption I'm making is that because you talked about the freemium model, that's free.
Yes,
And-
to do the initial install is free.
Okay. And so at what point in time does that $8 per user charge kick in? Does that mean that members of that gym have to communicate to the gym owner, hey, I want to upgrade so I have access to all the additional features?
Yes. So we're working actually to get gym goers basically willing to make this commitment to the gym owner. So we're trying to build traction among the gym goers.
So what's the time commitment by a gym owner per session on top of the fee to actually utilize this for an athlete? So do they need 5 minutes to analyze the stuff and send it out? I mean, what's the time commitment per athlete that they need to commit to make this software worthwhile for them?
If I'm understanding correctly, are you asking how long this?
So I'm a gym owner. I'll just make this assumption. I'm a gym owner, and I have a customer who comes in and say, hey, I want to use this software. I want the premium version. I want to become a better athlete. You're going to use this software to make me a better athlete. It's going to take one of my trainers to analyze the software and distribute the information to them. How long does that take?
The user interface is very straightforward, if I'm understanding your question correctly. Like, how can your trainers use this information and present it, or just like easily understand it? It's very within minutes, because the software, it's very user friendly. It says on the top left you have the workout options, and once you turn on the sensor, it'll start recording immediately and having the metrics. And as far as where the metric is stored, there will just be a sign-in button. You sign into the account, which is a very, very popular among like millennials nowadays, because every site has some sort of login option. So just log in, press your workout.
Okay.
Is
Thank
it
you.
scalable within the gym? Because every, the 8 o'clock class might have 40 people in it. Are 40 people going to be able to?
So actually, we are in the process of moving to a different microcontroller for our development services. So the test video that we had was a Microsoft Kinect.
Mm-hmm.
We are actually transitioning to an Intel microcontroller paired with a RealSense 3D camera. And we chose to move in that direction mostly, or largely due to that factor that you just brought up, which is that we can actually process multiple users at a time using the RealSense camera. Now, we might not be able to do 40, but we could certainly do, say, like a spin class of like 8 to 16 people.
So to kind of follow up on the questions here, I'm a gym owner. You guys come in and are trying to sell me, I guess, a software system. I still don't get why I wouldn't want to go with the free option. I'm trying to figure out what the value proposition is, me as a gym owner is, and why do I want to?
Okay. So one of the features that we wanted to implement was like an online user portal. So essentially, any user could log on to our online portal through the freemium model, or not the freemium model, the paid subscription model, and watch their entire past list of videos. So they could watch anything that they did in the past, essentially, and look at their form, and sort of have that all stored in a central location. In addition, we would also have risk metrics calculated for them, so we would be able to analyze sort of like where they're most likely to get injured, and in addition suggest alternative workouts to strengthen their weak muscles. For example, if somebody's squatting and they tend around their back, we could actually suggest lower back exercises for that person to basically increase their squatting.
I mean, it seems like to me you're almost better off just losing the free option altogether. Just make it $8, and this part's kind of a value added to their gym members, and it's just something they kind of factor in. And because if people give it a free choice, they're going to take the free choice. So, in a lot of cases.
So the hardware that you put into the gym, you just install for free? There's no upfront initial charge to cover some of that expense?
So we had been discussing this a little bit in the past, sort of adjusting the pure freemium model so it would actually be basically a 20% markup on our hardware cost. So essentially, there would be no persistent like online user services. However, we would charge a 20% markup to do the install, essentially, of our hardware equipment. And right now, our hardware is about $700 is what we can create one of these units for. So we would charge about $900 to do the initial install for this product.
So if you looked at expanding into, whether it be the spin classes or even, like Peloton's got a tremendous growth on the in-home spin class, or even Beachbody.com, which has millions of users working out all the time.
Yes, that was one of our market expansion tactics, is to go after different market segments. For example, we would love to get into online brokerages between personal trainers and clients, where we could essentially have people selling their fitness plans online through our product. And we would love to expand into additional market segments like you just mentioned, and actually have remote training through our platform, which is one of our core product features.
The reason we chose weightlifting right here is because all 4 members are professional powerlifters. We have strong ties to the community. We ideally do want to expand to other markets, but we wanted to focus on one particular market to show that we have a strong understanding of how it works.
Yes.
Hands up. Thank you.